Hi, this is Carol with Carol Joes. Today I'm going to show you how I do my necklaces that I use with beads and chain to make it. So for example, this is the necklace that I'm going to show you in this tutorial. So we're going to use some chain, which we have right here. And we will use some bead wire. So we've got a roll of the bead wire. I have two different sizes of the riverstone beads and then some silver plated beads. These are 4 millimeters, these are 8, and these are 12. I will use one lobster clasp, two split rings that are 6 millimeters, and 2 crimp tubes. So then for our tools today, we will need a flush cutter, split ring, the flat pliers, and crimp pliers. So those are the tools that we'll need, and I will also be using a bead stopper. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I need the cutters. I'm going to measure off in this necklace. It'll be anywhere from an 18 to 20 inch in length. So that means I usually do about half of it chain and half of it as beads. And in doing that, I will need probably about 16 inches or so of the bead wire. So I get out my ruler and I just measure it to what I think I'm going to need. And always err on the side of too big, too long. Don't you waste a lot of stuff, but don't make it so short so you can't finish your project off. So I'm going to get that going here. Then I'm going to get the ruler out of my way. I am going to put my bead stopper on the very end. And then I'm going to set up my beads. I just pour them onto my bead mat. I use a bead mat. You can use a towel or whatever else you would like to create that. And you want something to put your beads on so that they don't go all over the place while you're making the necklace. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put and I'm trying to do this through the camera on the phone instead of doing it down below. Because if I do it down below and look at it, I may go off camera. And I might have to do it down below. So if I go off camera, guys, not trying to on purpose, it's just so that I can find the holes of the beads. So then I'm going to go with the 4 millimeter, the 8 millimeter, 4 millimeter. There it is. Whoops, I missed it. It is harder to do it through the camera than it is just like watching it. And then the 12 millimeter. At least I think these are 12. I'm going to double check the size of that. They might be 14, so let me just double check. Nope, it is a 12. Whew. Okay. Just would rather tell you guys the right size than the wrong size. And now you're going to do that same pattern and just keep repeating the 4, the 8, the 4, the 12 until you get almost to the length that you want. And then you're going to end it with an 8 and a 4 millimeter on the end. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that here in just a sec. As soon as we get these all on there. So we do, I do some tutorials on my TikTok during a live, and then I record what I do here and put it out on YouTube. so that people can see it, because with TikTok it's live and you can't record them. So that is what I do here, and then I have people come here to see it if they want to do a replay. So I do use different platforms to keep doing different things. So if you want to see things right away, I do them live on TikTok and then record them later for YouTube. So just letting you guys know. And you can find me underneath Carol Jo's on either. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe because you like what you're seeing here on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And then turn on your notifications so that you can find out when I have uploaded videos. I do tutorial videos here, and I also put out here the items that I put up for sale. So if you are someone that wants to try making beaded jewelry or doing different supplies with your jewelry, you can follow me here and get what I have put out there recently. I do not put everything out with a description and a picture on my website, which is caroljos.com, because taking pictures of beads is extremely difficult for me. I am not an editor of videos. I am not an editor of pictures very well. I am just like, let's do it in the moment type person. All right. We're getting there close to where I think we need to be. So I'm going to put on, see here I have that 4mm. So now I'm going to do a 8mm. And then I'm going to do a 4mm. And I'm going to measure to see how long this is. So I'm going to want it to be at least 9 inches. So I'm going to go down to my 9 so you guys can see. Between 9 and 10 is where I want it to be. And we are at 9.5. So we're at the right length. So let me get rid of some of these beads because I'm not going to need the beads anymore. I'm going to put those away in my containers. I get asked, while I'm putting these away, I'll talk here. I get asked a lot about these containers that I use for my beads. They come in with the trays, and they are Elizabeth Ward's, or Warden, I think it's Elizabeth Ward, bead storage solution. I love the trays, though, because then you can haul everything around, and you don't lose everything. All right, so we got 9.5 here. So then I'm going to measure out my bead or my chain that I'm going to use for the necklace. So I need to get my ruler back out here. And I'm going to want to be, because if I do it at 9 inches, that means I need 4.5 at 4.5. And that would put my necklace at just about, when you add in the clasp and everything, around 19 inches. So we can do that. So you put out your chain to the 9.5, or 4.5, I mean. I have 9 on the brain. And you use the flat nose here to open this up. Now, the chains all have, one side has an opening on them, and you just open it, put one towards you and one away from you, like that. And you see, you open it, take off this half, and then put on half of your closure, which will be a 6mm split ring. Now, before we go to do the other one, I need to add my lobster clasp to my split ring. So I have the split ring tool that helps open up your split rings. I love it. There are different tools for the split ring opener. The design I have is the one I love the most. So there, you see how it opens it up just a little bit? You grab your lobster clasp. I test out my lobster clasp and make sure it's springing just fine. If it's good, then I put it on my split ring and then take my pliers and just whip that around, and there it is. So that's done. Now I need to have, I'm going to move the ruler out of my way because I don't need it anymore. Oops. See, that's why I love those containers. I just tipped it over and none spilled out. I want to have my chains be the exact same size. So I line them up. As you can see here, I'm going to line them up so that they are the same. You're going to go down until you find right there. That is the length that I want to open. And that is the wrong side. So I want to go to this side. Feel the top. Yep, that was it. So once again, one side comes towards me and one side goes away from me, and you can just open that up, take that off, take the clasp that we just made, put that split ring on, and then close it back up by going the opposite way that you did to open it. And you want to get it nice and close, but not overlapping. You don't want to have a big gap there because then things can fall off, but you don't want it overlapping because it just doesn't look polished. So now on one end of your necklace on the bead wire, add the crimp tube. The one thing I will say is use crimp tubes that are sterling silver. I use the 2mm size. Do not use the silver plated. They just don't hold like sterling silver does. I also don't like the crimp beads. They just don't hold as well for me as the tubes. So then you bring it, you put your tube on, then you put your chain on, and then push your wire back through your tube so it creates that loop. Now you want this to be able to move. You don't want it to be so tight like up here to where this doesn't move, because that will end up cutting the wire. You also don't want it back here so you have this big gap here, because you'll see that in your necklace up in the front. So you just want to get it in there so this is close and movable, but not a big gap. Now in the crimp pliers, you will see there are two different holes. We're going to the back one first, and that one creates like a big hot dog bun, an open hot dog bun with your crimp tube. So you just put that in there and then just press it down. You see how you got that open hot dog look? Now you turn it away from you, and we're going to use that front one and smush the two sides together. Oops, that's not turned. There we go. And then smush it together, and there it is. It's all crimped together. You use your thumb, and then you're like, oh, that worked because my stuff did not move. Now what you want to do is take some of your beads, bring them down, and put them, the wire back through at least 2 of your beads is the goal. And I got 4 there, so we're good. Now take this, pull it down, hold this tight there. I'm going to take off this crimp or the bead stopper. I'm going to hold that tight because I don't want to get like a whole bunch of extra wire in between here. So I just hold this with my finger to try to get that to stay. Then I'm going to pick up, and mine's a little bit long, but we'll get her done. And we're going to put the crimp tube on the other side and let it go down all the way to your beads. And make sure you don't have any of the room in there. Take other half of your wire or the chain that we made. Put that on your wire. There we go. Bring that down. Now you're going to take your bead or your wire and go back through a few of your beads. I got through 3 of them. That went pretty easy. But we still have that big gap. I put it down on my bead mat, and I pull on one end, which you can't see on it's off camera, but there you pull on it and bring that tight, but not too tight. See, I still have a big gap there. I want to get that gap a little smaller. Hold your nail on there and then pull on this piece of wire. See how it got a little bit closer? And I think we're good. So then we're going to crimp this one just like we did the other one, where we've got the 2. We're going to go the back one here first and then the second one there. So we're going to make our hot dog bun. You see how that's there? Turn it sideways and crimp it together in the first one. And if you don't get it in there right and it moves, you will hear this clicky noise and you know you didn't do it right. There we go. We got her. I tested it out. It worked. Now we're going to take our cutters, go up against this bead here, and just your end piece, not the piece that's holding this, just this end piece, and cut that off. And then we're going to throw that piece away. And now we have our completed necklace. Whoops. So there you are. That's how you can create a necklace using chain, bead, and bead wire with just beads. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Come subscribe to me on YouTube here and follow along for more tutorials. Bye.